With two flops already in the book for Marvel in 2025 and Fantastic Four that has a lot riding on it, a lot of the promotion and discussion and talk has already been pushed towards Avengers Doomsday, which has seemingly about 50 different cast members bringing so many different people back in a desperate attempt to revive the MCU. But they're also already planning for what happens after those Avengers movies, and what will likely occur in either Doomsday or Secret Wars is the introduction of the new X-Men. We know all the old X-Men are appearing in Avengers Doomsday and in Avengers Secret Wars. But what about what happens after that, in the aftermath? And based on what we're hearing, looks like Marvel may not have learned anything over the last several years, because there's a lot of reports flying everywhere, and we should be clear. There's a million reports about a million different things, but one thing that people have been consistently hearing over the last couple months is that Marvel wants to make sure they get their representation in the movie about mutants. Rumor: Marvel might race swap Professor X. Former X-Men writer accuses studio of hypocrisy and pandering. Now, this is combined with some of the things we've heard about potentially Denzel Washington being cast to play Magneto. And obviously, I think Denzel is an incredible actor, a phenomenal actor. Don't think he's the right casting for Magneto for obvious reasons. But those are also swirling around Charles Xavier, Professor X, Professor Malcolm X, potentially. Marvel Cinematic Universe's next major gamble may not be at the box office, but at the casting table. Reports are now circulating that Marvel Studios is actively pursuing black actors for the role of X-Men leader Professor Charles Xavier, setting off a firestorm of debate over what the franchise truly stands for and who it's willing to alienate in the process. While Patrick Stewart is confirmed to return as Professor X in Avengers Doomsday, the studio is also laying groundwork for its long-awaited X-Men reboot, which honestly should have happened years ago, but they continue to drop the ball. Reportedly slated to begin after 2027 Secret Wars. That hasn't stopped casting speculation from dominating the chatter online, and one name keeps coming up: Coleman Domingo. During a recent episode of the Hot Mic podcast, longtime scooper Jeff Snyder said, "I continue to hear black actors for Charles Xavier." He added that Marvel may be headed this direction to distance itself from previous portrayals by Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy. Why? So it's going to be a different person, obviously, but it should still be representative of the person that we saw in the comic books, right? That's where you should be drawing this inspiration from. And, oh no, we had a couple white guys that we made bald or were bald for this role. Oh, well, we got to distance. Why? That's who you should be fucking casting. It's also rumored Denzel's the studio's top pick for Magneto, fueling speculation that Marvel wants to draw real-world civil rights parallels by literally making it like that. Recent rumors also suggest Marvel might consider Daniel Day-Lewis for the role of Magneto, so there's a lot of conflicting chatter right now. I have heard that as well. I've heard Denzel, and I've heard Daniel Day-Lewis. Would Daniel Day-Lewis, that's like a great question. Would Daniel Day-Lewis take a Marvel role? I think it's a stretch for maybe Denzel to potentially do one. For Daniel Day-Lewis to do it, that seems a little bit outlandish. Not everyone's on board with the plan to race swap Professor X. In fact, some of Marvel's own creatives are openly questioning the decision. Now, to be fair, Bo DeMeo has an axe to grind with Marvel, was fired by Marvel. We've talked about that before, but he's one of the ones who's very outspoken about the idea of race swapping these characters. Ousted showrunner of X-Men 97 and himself a black man appears to be among those slamming the move. He's responding to somebody who says Professor X and Magneto's ethnicities are actually super important to these characters. Magneto for the whole Holocaust thing, and Professor X's views on mutant issues is inherently privileged because he has never faced actual discrimination as a rich, white, British man. Bo DeMeo retweets that, says, "That's all I gotta say. Oh, and that Marvel Studios' rush to get X-Men into Avengers Doomsday continues to suggest the studio has no respect or awareness for/of what the X-Men stand for beyond fan-pandering cameo fodder to salvage 6 years of failed films by Feige and company." And those are not the only things we're hearing. We're also hearing about potentially Wicked star Cynthia Erivo being cast as Storm. Now, look, at least Cynthia Erivo is actually black, right? At least she's a black woman. So at least that does make sense to eye black women for the role of Storm. You know damn well they're not going to consider race-swapping Storm, nor should they. You should be casting a black woman to play Storm. But Cynthia Erivo, imagine, look, we know how cringe it was on the tour for Wicked. Imagine the shit that she's going to say in promotion for a Marvel movie. Are you fucking kidding me? And she expressed interest long ago about potentially doing that. So already, this film is like 3 years away probably at the earliest. And already some of the initial castings and some of the things that people are hearing about this, if there's any validity, and we should really look at this all as a lot of people putting a lot of different stuff out there, but if there's any validity to this at all, one, people wouldn't be surprised because this has been what Marvel has been doing for the past 6+ years, but also it's just so indicative that they're not going to change anything. You've already had 2 bombs in 2025, Captain America Brave New World and Thunderbolts. Despite the praise for Thunderbolts, might end up making less than Captain America at the box office. And already for the next big arc, this would be the next big arc of the Marvel Cinematic Universe if it keeps continuing, you need the X-Men to play a big part of it. If you get these castings wrong, it's going to be a massive fuck up. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.